the blessing. Now I would like to invite Jim's little brother, Ernest Ashby, Sr., to come up and just share a few words about Jim's first job and any other remarks that you'd like to make.
Thank you, Terry. Terry called about a week or so ago and asked me if I would say a few words in reference to Jim's retirement. And I'm honored but was somewhat surprised at the same time. I knew he had a birthday coming up, and I said, well, maybe it's a celebration originally for the birthday. Because I had to reflect back, because as long as I've known Jimmy, and I'm 52 and he's 54, I've really never known him to do any work. So this is going to have to be a tough speech here. And as I look on this sheet here all about Jim, I see all these places down here of employment. Every time I've ever spoken to him or called him, he's always chilling. So, you know, it started as kids growing up with only being 2 years apart. We shared a room. And we were kind of attached to each other with tasks around the house. So my father would leave for work and he would say, look, I want y'all to clean your room, and I want y'all to cut the grass and cut the hedges. Well, during the summer, the only time Jimmy got up before 2:30 or 3 o'clock was for football practice. So needless to say, the grass was cut because I cut the grass, and I figured he could do the hedges. That was the short part, but the hedges never got done. So as a result of that, we never got paid. So I asked my father, I said, why did you do that? He said, well, because you were supposed to learn how to work together as a team. And I said, well, half the team was functioning, but nobody got paid. So that carried on, and when I graduated from high school, I think it was 1973, Jimmy came back from Morgan, and we had a job working for the state up in Garrett County. And the first day that we arrived on the job, it was kind of unfamiliar for him to see two young black men come to Garrett County. And across the PA system that they have, they said, there's 2 mop heads coming here. We had these big afros at the time. And they really didn't want us working there during the summer, but we were committed to having an employment, being employed, and having a salary for the summer. So we stayed there, and the first day they said, well, yeah, we don't have much for y'all to do because you can't be union. So they said there's some explosives out there in the trailer. We want y'all to move it from one side of the trailer to the other. So Jimmy and I looked at each other and we said, all right, we'll do that. And following the lead of an older brother, Jimmy said, stack that up over here. He said, we're going to make beds over here. He said, we'll fix them. If they don't give us anything to do, we'll make beds over here and we'll take naps all day. And for the next 6 weeks, we slept during the course of the day for pay. So I reference back to, I really never seen Jim work. That's why I shared those comments with you earlier. And once we finished school and graduated from college and started working, Jimmy and I both worked for the Department of Corrections. And after 5 years, I left and went on to do something else, but always contacted Jimmy during the course of the day. And I said, what are you doing, man? He said, still chilling. We meet for work. We meet for lunch, and him and his friend Parker over here would meet me over in Howard County. And yeah, Parker, you're a part of that. It's 11:30, 12 o'clock. We meet at a little place over here on Route 1 and have lunch. And I said, well, I got to get back to work. Where y'all going? We're just going to chill for the rest of the day. And we're going home. So I said, man, it must be nice. These guys really don't work. So when Terry called me, I said, I better Google what retirement's about. And I looked on there and it said, being disengaged. They've been disengaged for a period of time. And then I looked up chilling. I said, well, what is chilling? And it said in a relaxed mode. And as long as I've known Jimmy, he's been in a relaxed mode. So he's well prepared for retirement. And what I will say in all seriousness, after 30 plus years of working for the Department of Corrections, through what he's gone through, he's really endured a lot. It's a true testament of a man to be able to do that and walk out of there and still be giving to the people that he's loved and he's touched throughout the course of his life thus far. So it's been a blessing. I'm proud of him. I'm glad to see him, as well as Mrs. Sue, outside of the Department of Corrections. And I guess he will continue to chill now for the federal government as he moves into his new role. But congratulations and best of luck.
Thank you. Those words are beautiful. So true, so true. Okay, now representing the state of Maryland Division of Corrections, Mr. John Parker. Let's welcome him with a hand clap.
Good afternoon, everyone. Ernie, we did work.
Part-time.
Huh?
Part-time.
But we did. Well, I'll do it this way. I'll tell you how I met Jim Ashby. Working at the Reception and Diagnostic Center in Baltimore, and I was there first, and I see this big guy coming down the hall, and I went to speak, but if you know Jim, when Jim don't want no bother, you know Jim don't want no bother. And then he was really Big Jim. And I looked at them hands, I said, nah, I'm gonna leave that brother alone. So we walked by each other. So he just so happened that he shared an office with a certain friend, basically of ours. So this guy was about 4 or 5 years older than both of us, as a matter of fact. And we hung out. So just so happened he needed some advice. So I said, well, I'll give you some advice. I said, but I think this is flipped because you're older than me and I should be coming to you for advice, but nonetheless. So I gave him some advice. Jim looked annoyed, so I said, well, you know what, I better get out of this room. So I went on out the room, walking. So then a couple of days later, I zipped right on by the office, and I hear Parker. I said, I know he didn't call me, I'm gonna keep moving. He come out, Parker. I said, well, yeah, Jim, what's up? He said, man, I got you wrong. He said, what you said to him showed me that I definitely had you wrong, and can we start over again and get on a better foot? And I think the rest of you know it's history. He's been my best friend, my confidant. When I'm in a jam, that's who I know I can call. Thanks, Jim.
Thank you, Parker. I know you all also share the same, what is it, dressmaker? No, that's not the right word. Haberdashery, yeah. I thought you were going to tell that story. I'll say that one. Oh, and finally, the remarks are from me. I just have a few brief remarks, dear.